live and woo. Okay, it says it's now streaming on Facebook. I just got a note.
Oh, it's on there now?
That's what it says.
Yeah, it says it's live. All five of us.
I'm going to have to drop off and come back on and see if I can get my video to work.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just do little intros of what's going on. And so this is going to be favorite releases of 2020, new ones, reissues, live ones, stuff like that, And if you have anything else you want to talk about that happened in 2020 besides the obvious, you're more than welcome to step in.
Okay. All right.
So, how about I'll start with me, and then we'll go down the line, and with Alex will be the last one.
Okay.
Since Alex is okay. I'm going to start off, and Matt's going to love this one.
Oh, hello. Good evening.
Let's see if is it showing?
Yeah,
It's a little bit of glare, but it's showing.
Yeah, I'm sure Matt will love that one.
Oh, shucks.
It's a little partial.
No.
Yeah,
no,
see, I'm on
no
delay
bias
here.
whatsoever. Wink, wink.
It's yeah. I got that. What was it, about a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
And then I also did a live conversation with the band, which is on my YouTube account. I'll put links down below. Oh, I need to let someone back in.
All right.
Oh, come on. There he is. He's coming. Should be. Okay, well. I tried to let him back in.
Yeah, he's coming.
Beauty of live.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
There's a
Live video at its finest.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's.
oh yeah. Why isn't he showing up?
I guess meanwhile I can do some entertainment during this moment.
I don't know why he's not coming back in.
What you got for us, Robert?
Well, I don't know. I can play a guitar solo, but I don't have a guitar right now. So. Yeah, it's been a rough end of the year for a lot of people, but yeah, we're back in 2021. Ah, there's Alex. Bonjour, Alex.
Okay.
You seem comfortable.
Yeah, I have to sit in an easy chair to keep my foot up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't have my foot sitting down like sitting normally.
Oh yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah. So that was the first one I got. Second one, the Fates Warning new one.
Oh, cool.
I've been following them since the mid '80s. I didn't get their first one at the beginning, but I got one called No Exit from 1989, and from then on, it's one of my favorite of the progressive metal genre, and they kind of stay consistent with what they're doing. They never went. I don't think they ever went overboard with like solos and stuff like that, or endless or needless noodling. Some people may differ on that, and I don't know if
their,
any,
16th studio album.
yeah, they've been going strong. And a friend of mine was saying, he said if they were to ever call it quits, this would be a perfect end note for a band.
Yeah, it's a great album.
And then I got this one, Flower Kings, Islands.
This one, I'm looking forward to get it.
It's really good. It seems to be a lot more shorter songs than previous albums, where my previous albums had short songs in it, but the majority of them are shorter lengths. I don't think there's any, if I remember correct, no 20 plus minute epics on there. So and then another one I got, Glass Hammer, Dreaming City.
Cool.
That's a good one. It's kind of I'd say it's a little different from what they've done in the past. It's more modern feeling to it, and it has kind of like a Rush vibe to it. And then Kansas,
Oh yeah.
their new one. Which I can't see the absence of presence. Their new singer is really good. If you did, I played some of the songs for a friend of mine, and I just waited. I said, "So what do you think of the singer?" He said, "Oh, yeah, Steve sounds good." I said, "That's not Steve."
I like their previous one a lot as well.
Yeah, that was a good one. The one with the new.
Yeah, the last two have been real good.
Then the Licorice Quartet.
Oh yeah, former Jellyfish guys.
Yeah, this is really good. I mean, my favorite off it is that Lighthouse Spaceship, which is real. I really like that one the best. But I can't wait I know they're going to put out more volumes in probably this year, maybe at least one of them.
Yeah.
And then another band, this one's another California band called Once and Future Band. And imagine a more, I want to say more jazzier version of Jellyfish.
I gotta check both of those out.
Yeah.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Haven't seen either one of those.
And then going in Pain of Salvation, Panther. This is probably the most eclectic progressive metal album I've heard. I'm sure DJ Tony's heard some in his time.
Favorite band.
Right on.
And I won't know how to pronounce this one, but Pure Reason Revolution, their new one.
It's called Eupnia.
Okay. I've been listening to this for a few days now in the car, and it really it's nice to see them back. They're kind of I don't know, on their first one they had a very Floydian sound to it, but then I think as they just kind of evolved, and I know they played Nearfest one year way back, probably in 05, maybe.
Yeah, that's
I
a
never
great
got to-
recording too.
And then my last of the new releases is Zombie 2020. And these guys, if you like music, how John Carpenter and Goblin all those kind of bands. They, I think they're like a 3-piece now. They used to be just a 2-piece, but then I think they added guitar this time around.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And then I got a couple of reissues that Galahad Following Ghosts. It's a expanded edition. It's like 3 or 4 discs. And then the anniversary mix of Perfect Element. And then the reissue of Pure Reason Revolution's first one. That's what I got. I didn't get that many CDs this year.
Well, that's many more than I did, I have to admit.
Well, so who wants to go next?
Well, if you want, I can.
Okay.
I have a short list, but it's cool. I got the new Pat Metheny album from this place. Boy, that sounds good. That sounds really good. I mean, he's still one of the best guitarists in the United States. It's just really it's good material.
He's certainly original.
He captures some of the bits from earlier material, but some very modern sounding tunes also. It's been one of my, the one that I've spun the most, I must say. Then there was the beginning of the year, 2 musicians, J.G. Thirlwell and Simon Streetland. They released an album that's called Oceospira. It's kind of a Magma meets Univers Zero. It's pretty intense stuff. It's got energy, it's got angst, it's intense.
What's it called again?
Huh?
Who's it called? What band is it?
G.J. Thirlwell and Simon Streetland.
Oh, yes.
They're kind of artists that have been in the rock and opposition and stuff of that sort. So yeah, it's been one of my good ones too. Yeah. After that, well, I've been privileged to work with Michel Saint-Père on his new album. I did all the artwork for the new DVD, CD release. The name of the album is called Caught in the Whirlwind. It's a live album from one of their shows in the Netherlands. It sounds just absolutely fantastic. It's been mixed in 5.1. All right. So it's a good one. I have to admit. Michel has been releasing quite a few live albums, but his next one's going to be studio material. He's starting to work on it right now. So that's pretty much what I have right now. There's of course at the beginning of the year, Marcus Ruther and Gary Husband released kind of a duo acoustic set that they recorded in Japan. That's another pretty good recording that I got from our good friend Leonardo. Good stuff, lovely stuff. So that's it for me for 2020.
Cool. Okay. Next up.
I'll go.
Tony,
Okay.
I got kind of a long list.
bring it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's been a big year in music. Pardon me. My list is pretty big. There's a lot of great albums that came out this year. I got a few of the same as you, Ron. Pain of Salvation, Panther, another amazing album by Daniel Gildenlow. He just finds a way to keep being creative and keep expanding and creating new sounds of music while keeping that same Pain of Salvation sound, that signature sound of Daniel Gildenlow. So again, another great, fantastic release from him. I think it's one of the best albums of the year. On first listen, I actually kind of didn't get it on the very first listen, and then you listen 2 or 3 more times and you really start to understand the album and all the intricate work that's in there. There's like some EDM in there. There's mixed with this progressive metal, just fantastic. You guys all know that's my favorite band in the world, so I'm a bit partial to Pain of Salvation.
Excellent.
Cool.
Also, you know, there's a couple on here that might not be prog, but I think it's one of the best albums of the year. Steve Bonino, The Most Beautiful Feeling. Steve came to me about 6 months ago and he says, hey, I got a new album out, but I don't know if you're going to want to play it because it's not prog. And I would call it just rock and roll pop. The Most Beautiful Feeling is a fantastically written album. It's relevant. It's about the sign of the times. It's about COVID. It's about all the things going on in the world, not to mention it's a love album. There is a bunch of love songs on it. And Steve did all the work himself. He did all this from his home. And you guys all know his catalog is pretty big, but this was a little out of departure. It was just straight up a rock pop album and just beautiful album. I cannot recommend this album enough. Next one up, which might be my album of the year. I typically don't do top 10 lists and things like that, but Novena, The 11th Hour, Ross Jennings from Haken, what an album. This is one that just does not get old. I mean, this is real. It's similar to Haken, but it's got some different type of elements. It's got even a little bit of pop in there, but just a beautifully well-made album, not too much growl, just enough in the right places that I really like, you know, a la like Opeth or, you know, bands like that. Beautiful album. That might be my favorite album of the year. I got about 3 that I keep going back and forth on. But if you haven't heard this album, Novena, The 11th Hour, pick it up. It is absolutely a spectacular album. Long anticipated Abel Gans, The Life of the Honeybee and Other Moments of Clarity. This might be on my list the most pure progressive album on my list. It has so many different elements of music. It's got fusion, it's got soft, it's got mellow, it's heavy where it needs to be. Beautiful album. Abel Gans, you know, they don't put an album out every year. They put one out randomly. Sometimes it's 3, 4, 5 years, but they wait until the album is ready and they make perfect albums. I got Pure Reason Revolution as well. Eupnia, a great comeback from the last couple albums that were kind of leaning towards like EDM and techno, and which is I like that music a lot. I just didn't think it mixed well with the progressive stuff that they're known for doing. So I had a hard time with those. But Eupnia gets back to the roots of Pure Reason Revolution and just a spectacular, beautiful album. I got a few more here. Sorry.
Cool.
Flower Kings, Islands. I think it's one of the best Flower King albums we have heard in several years. Pure, just lots of different styles of TFK. I had Hase on my show last year, and he told me it was some of the best stuff they've written in 10 years. And I got to agree there. Lots of variety on there. They really outdid themselves on this one. To Tangent, Auto Recognizance. Andy Tillison. Everybody knows this guy knows how to write music, and he is one of the most talented songwriters, composers, lyricists. All of his lyrics, they make sense and they're all relevant about the times. And he just continues to put out great music. Roby One, I am so jealous of Robert Schindler. Roby One, Circles, another great instrumental album from Roby One. He does this on his own, by himself, in his studio, and he can throw a song together in 5 minutes flat and just make it a piece of perfection. He is one of the most underrated keyboard players in the world, and he's just fantastic. Another great album. I don't know if you guys have heard this one yet. This is called a band called Timelight. They're from right here in Portland, Oregon, and the album is called Sella, and it's been about 4 years since their last album. These guys put together, they're, you know, in a way they remind me a little bit of Wobbler because they're so old school. The sounds are old school. It's a throwback to bands like Nectar and these 70s progressive bands like that. All those same wonderful harmonies and keyboard sections and at times heavy guitars. Just a beautiful album. If you haven't heard Timelight Sella, go out and get it. It is an incredible album. Jim Griffin, The Signal. This is a, you know, I hadn't heard that much of Zombie Picnic, so I wasn't real familiar with his work, but he put together an album. This album, The Signal, has got some of the coolest psychedelic guitar in it, and it throws me back again to the 70s, that heavy psychedelic fusion lead guitar, and just a wonderful album. Let's see, I got some reissues and stuff, but the last one on my top list would be 6 Days End out of Iran. These guys, I hadn't heard from them in about 7, 8 years. I hadn't heard from these guys. The new album is called In Between Two Nothings, and it's just him and another guy, Parcel, and another dude, and they just nailed this album. They put it together. They do everything themselves. And just a wonderful album. 6 Days In out of Iran. For my reissues, I got the same ones you do, Ron. I got the Perfect Element Anniversary Mix. I can never get enough Pain of Salvation. You know that. You guys who know me, you guys know it doesn't matter. My favorite band in the world. Also, the Pure Reason Revolution. The Third Dark was one of the best albums of, what was that, 05, 06, something like that. Just a spectacular album. A couple honorable mentions real quick here. I won't talk a lot about them. Fates Warning, Long Day, Good Night. Again, they did it again. Tama Toys. If you haven't heard these guys, this is another wonderful band. Their album is called Conflicts. Two more here. Jaco Jasek from King Crimson. The album is called Secrets and Lies, and that is a fantastic album. If you haven't heard that yet, give that a listen. And Haken Virus, Haken does it again. They find a way to just keep making great music. And then one last one. My favorite cover of the year is Morris Portnoy and George, cover to cover. If you don't have that one, it's 3 albums, 3 CDs of all covers from music they grew up on, and they did a great job covering these. I don't listen to a lot of covers, but this one really stuck out. Inside Out sent me this copy. I didn't know what to think of it. And I just thought it was perfectly made. Just a wonderful, beautiful album. They did a great job. And that wraps up my list.
Right on.
Excellent. That
Thank
sounds
you.
great.
Good stuff.
You were talking about that Tangent album. It's funny because this morning I was listening to this.
I can listen to that one.
It's a great album. So good.
Excellent. Very, very good stuff.
I've got a short list. I guess it's, I've actually bought a lot of music this year due to the lockdown. Most of it's just like filling holes in my catalog. So I don't know how much of it would count for an end of 2020 list, but 2 of my big favorites, one of them Robert mentioned, and one of them Tony mentioned, the Pat Metheny record, which came out at the beginning of the year from this place, is just, it's tremendous. And in light of Lyle May's passing not too long after it came out, there was something about it that, you know, like Robert, you had mentioned that some of it harkens back to some of Pat's classic sound, in addition to doing all these things, other things that he's absorbed over the years. But there were definitely a few spots where I don't remember the name of the pianist, whoever it is just fantastic. But I heard echoes of the old Matheny group, and it kind of made me a little wistful, like, oh man, we're not going to see those guys again. You know, they were
like Wichita and American Garage.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
Pat Metheny 5 times in the 70s.
Yeah, I didn't get to see him till late 80s, but oh yeah, we got to talk about this. That's coming up. We got to talk about that. Yeah, I didn't see Metheny until late 80s, but I saw him a bunch of times between then and around 2002, 2003. And then the other one that Tony mentioned was the new Abel Gans record, which I'm in love with that record. It's just wonderful. There's not a wasted note on it, and it's very eclectic. The writing is fantastic. The playing is wonderful. And then outside those realms, I really like Pearl Jam's most recent record, Gigaton, which came out back around March or April. The first single sounds like a Talking Heads outtake, which is like, whoa. Wasn't expecting that to come out of Pearl Jam, but it's really good, and it's a great record. I mean, lyrically, it's wonderful. You know, they're always doing things that are. I like that they don't just repeat the first 3 records. That's one of the things I've always respected about them, because they could just easily mine that type of sound for the rest of their lives, but they're not content doing that, and that's a credit to them. Other than that. This is technically a 2019 release, but it got a really good deluxe reissue in 2020. I know Nick Katona is real big on this record, the self-titled record by a band called the Black Pumas. And it's like the soul sound that I miss hearing from the 60s and 70s. Playing is really wonderful. The singer's fantastic, and they've written some great songs, and they've picked some cool covers. They do a great cover of Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City. And I think the only reissues, I just bought Hendrix and Maui, but I haven't cracked it open yet. So it might end up being on my top list after I've listened to it. And then the Big Petty box set for Wildflowers, which had the Wildflowers album plus an entire shelved second album. And the material there is great too. So I guess those would be my picks. And I want Tony to talk about it a little bit, and we'll get to that in a second. And thanks, Ron, for bringing up museum.
Oh, you're welcome.
I usually by the time I'm done working on a project, I'm sick of it. But I'm really proud of what the guys did, and I hope that it stands up to future listenings. And you know, we're like, it's a sucky thing putting out a record and then having a pandemic. All of a sudden you can't tour, you can't go do shows. You're really limited with what kind of promotional exposure you can do other than what we can do internet wise. But
Right.
So I don't know, maybe in the latter half of this coming year or in the beginning of 22, we can do something. And maybe it won't be too late. I don't know.
Never too late for music.
Yeah, right. I mean, and even, you know, sometimes we get turned on to things that are great that are not necessarily brand new. One of my coworkers turned me on to a band from DC called Turnover. And I guess they used to be kind of an emo type band, but they've morphed into a very kind of dreamy rock type of vibe. And I hear a few progressive elements in there. I really like the singer. Oh, I forgot the new Bruce Hornsby record. No Secure Connection. It's ridiculous. Talk about another guy that keeps evolving and doing interesting things and not content just to play the way it is for the rest of his life. It's a fantastic record. There's some really cool collaborations on it as well. But yeah, Tony, talk a little bit about your record before we pass the baton. Tony's record's really, really cool. You guys should hear it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Tony Romero's Vortex. The album's called Noise Machine. It just came out on December 26th. I worked really hard on this. Comes to us courtesy of Melodic Revolution Records. So big shout out to Nick Katona for signing me. It's a big honor to be part of his record label. Hence the reason why I'm wearing the Melodic Revolution shirt, as I do all the time. But You know, it's a long time coming. I've been playing since I was very young, and I finally decided to get a little more serious about recording. And of course, I called on some of my good friends like Steve and Rob and Christopher Scott Cooper to help me out with this because it just needed a little pizzazz. And they came in and really helped put this album together. Steve's production skills are just unmatched. And if you'd like to check it out, you can go to TonyRomerosBandcamp.com. It's actually TonyRomerosVortex.bandcamp.com. We're finally on Spotify today, but it's a cool album. I did all the artwork myself. I got a little dedication in here from my mom, my buddy Gary, and my buddy Colin Tench, who we've lost here over the few years. And so it's $10 over at my Bandcamp. And or you can go right to the Melodic Revolution Records website and purchase it off there. There are a limited edition of signed copies out there. So if you guys would like to get a copy, it's really cool. There's a lot of good stuff on here. There's some instrumentals, and there's a lot of really good guests on here. Peter Matushniak is one of the guitarists on here. A brand new artist, Sophia Baird, sings song number 7, Ice Dance, and she is amazing. 22 years old. She sounds like almost like Dionne Warwick. She has that deep, sultry, wonderful voice, and we gave her no coaching. We gave her music, lyrics, and she just nailed it. And of course, I had to ask my good friend Liz Tapia to sing on one of the songs. She does a duet with Steve on a song called March in a Bottle. So thank you for letting me plug that, you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Groovy. Excellent.
Cool, man.
I'll look it up. That's for sure.
Now we got this, Mr. Alex.
Mr. Alec, you ready?
Alex.
Yeah. I'm not a musician. I'm not really part of the crowd, so to speak. I'm just a fan of a variety of things. First, I want to mention is Dean Watson. Dean Watson has been doing many albums for many years, and he does all the instruments himself. Guitars, bass, drums, keyboards, and is his own recording engineer. And he did, what he did was he took some old songs that he had. The release is called Revisited. And he basically revisited the old songs and recorded them. And Dean always puts out music that just always hits my ear. I'm very much a fusion / electronic kind of music fan, and Dean is definitely in that vein. There's another band, Shizuru. I believe they're from France. They released an album called '05. They're very much in the Zool vein of things. Instrumental, kind of hard hitting. Always enjoyed that band. I thought they were really good. Another band, Arch Echo. Maybe you guys have heard of them. They're Degeners. So they're kind of prog metal, but they're more instrumental and a little more fusiony. They've got a new EP release that just came out a couple of weeks ago that's quite good. And then sort of similar in vein to that, I've been listening to these guys for years, Polini and Sith Ayu. They're two guitarists from England, I believe. And they do sort of the gent style of more in the fusion vein these days, especially Polini. He put out an EP last year that was really good, and it's definitely fusion. He has toned down the guitar a little bit, and it's really quite good. I also picked up a re-release of a band member from Magma prior to being in Magma called Speed Limit, and that's now out on Bandcamp. And it's pretty muchly, as you would expect, fusion, but it's got some psychedelic touches to it. It's really pretty decent, I thought. And that was a release that I picked up this year. There seems to be some older releases that are now starting to get re-released from back in the 70s. Let me see what else. Another band that I discovered that's electronic called Cosmic Landscape. Very much in the Berlin School or Tangerine Dream style, kind of sequential synthetic music. And the release that I got is called Emptiness of Space, and I thought it was really good. It's the kind of thing I like to sit around and read to. Um, and let me see what else here. Oh, Cyclical Dreams has released a new album too. That's really good. It's kind of instrumental in the RIO vein of things. It's definitely kind of experimental, but I thought it was quite good. It seemed to hit my ears pretty well. So, and I think for 2020 releases, that's really about it. I buy everything now on Bandcamp, so I haven't bought a physical media in years. The last physical media that I bought was for a Japanese rock band that they don't release anything that you can download on Bandcamp. So it's been some time since I've done that. But I would like to mention VAK from France also. They're doing some really great releases. They had a release, I think it was last year, called Budo that I've really enjoyed. I've been listening a lot to that. It's funny, it's only 3 songs, and of course they're very long, but they're definitely in the Zool vein of things. So I think that's pretty much it from my list right now.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I did forget one that I had to mention. It's a re-release. I bought that. It's amazing. It's
Oh,
Essentia, the super ultra duper 5.1 digital with all sorts of bonus material and a 75 page book. It's very good stuff. It came, and that's the funny thing, it came with the Blu-ray, a corrected Blu-ray, because the original Blu-ray in the box set had 1 or 2 songs that were missing the 5.1 digital track. So I took that Blu-ray and I listened to it. It's the entire album, all in 5.1 digital. And I never even had to open this one. It's still sealed.
cool.
I did get one today in the mail that I had ordered, and it was a 2020 release. It's Deep Purple's new one.
Oh, their new one, yeah.
I have not heard it yet, so but I heard a lot of good things about it. I'm going to look forward to listening to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also did forget to put on my list the Tangent as well, because I did a review of the CD, and I talked with Andy on, I believe he was the first person I did an interview with on this new YouTube channel.
Mm.
So,
Funny, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ron.
yeah, it's like his interview was like 90 minutes, and then I did one with a mutual friend of Matt and I, Joel Martin, for almost 3 hours. We just kept on going. What I do is when I do my interviews, I don't do the traditional, I ask a question, I wait for their answer, and then go back. I just let it go as a conversation, like what we're doing here. Whatever comes to mind, comes to mind. I do mention, if they have a new album out, I talk to them about that. But for the most part, I want to keep it a very relaxed atmosphere, so they don't feel pressured into talking.
Yeah, it feels very static when you have preset questions. I do the same thing. It just flows so much better.
Oh.
What the hell?
That's my chair.
Okay.
Did your chair put out a new album in 2020?
Songs from the sofa.
Yeah, really.
That is very good.
That was great. What timing. Beautiful timing.
But
I
I
love the sound effects. It's just wonderful.
this was the last CD that I got.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
These guys are from Japan. Their releases are kind of few and far and hard to get.
Yeah.
But I think the bass player is really quite good. Oh, and then I saw these guys, the Aristocrats, about 6 years ago.
Oh,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was good. Yeah.
They were really
fantastic
good.
band.
And I'm getting ready to order the first 3 CDs, excuse me, that I've ordered in like 10 years. Jazz Q has 2 releases from the 70s. And then Kit Watkins, I want to get his release from 1980.
Yeah,
And
and
those
also,
you can't find those as downloads anywhere.
Hmm.
yeah, I'm pretty much, the only times I'll get something that has a download is if I order something on Amazon and they give you that little MP3
Yeah.
that you can play on their player. But other than that, I personally, everybody has their preference. I like having the physical media.
Well, I already have like 6,000 CDs that are sitting in the garage, and my wife is going to kill me if I buy anything more. So I buy everything off of Bandcamp as a
6,000
download, and then I put it on my Plex server.
My goodness.
I had 12,000 records in 1978, and then a lot of those records disappeared because I had them in storage, and the person who was with me in the storage didn't pay the bill, and the records got taken away.
Oh boy. Yeah. I haven't yet. I mean, I do a lot of things with MP3, but I do I buy mostly physical media and then
Me too.
transfer it to MP3. But I can see a day probably coming. It's in the distant future, but there's probably a day coming where I'm going more.
Everything that I get, I usually get in FLAC.
Yeah.
With the exception of what's on Amazon. Amazon, you have no choice. You have to get MP3. But I have all my stuff in FLAC, and I rip it all and put it on my Plex server, and then I can get it from anywhere. You can there's a Plex client that'll run on your phone, so you can play your music anywhere, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, my computer is my big hub in terms of having everything loaded, not just for the radio show, but for driving. And my stereo gear is here, but most of my furniture is in storage. And I can't fit my speakers in here. So I'm pretty much it feels like it's pretty much all virtual at the moment. It's a little weird, but I'm getting used to it,
I have a network attached storage device, and that's where I have all my music stored on. And my music gives my wife a headache, so I listen to everything through headphones.
Alex, I hope that you have a full backup of everything.
Yes, the NAS is rated. It's in a RAID 5.
Okay, that's
So
good.
it's protected, and it's also an SSD, so it's fast, and the SSDs are pretty reliable. They last a long, long time.
Yeah, same thing here. I have a backup, and when the backup is complete, I make a copy of the backup and another copy that I give to my sister. So if anything happens to my house,
You got it.
It is. Right. And you
Or
can
you keep a hard drive, an external hard drive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right here. I got one too. Coach can't see it over my. There we go. My dad was covering
The
it
only
up.
trouble is that my NAS is
Yeah.
30 terabytes.
I have a crazy amount of music, and artists don't always send the album, which I usually encourage them not to, because I'm going to end up playing the MP3s on my show anyway. And I usually encourage my artists to save the postage and the CD for somebody to purchase and just send me an MP3. But some people, they insist on sending me the CD, which is great. I appreciate that. But yeah, I have racks of physical CDs that I've never opened because I have the MP3s, and that's what I play on my radio show. And, if anything ever crashed, it wouldn't even all fit on this one. I got 2 of these, and I think I could probably back it all up to 2, but it's a silly amount. I mean, I get sent so many each week. I get all the record labels are always sending me promos, and some people like to collect the CD, especially reviewers. They really want that hard CD in their hand, which is fine.
It seems like mostly like us older guys like that.
Yeah,
I like it too. There's still nothing quite like browsing through albums and looking through racks and then pulling something out and taking it home and unwrapping it and looking at everything and
right.
that whole ritual
It's surprising to see in so many movies people playing records, on like
What a resurgence, right?
$14,000 turntables.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think looking through CDs is nearly as fun as going to a record store and sifting through albums and pulling that one gem out for $2.99.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. I mean, and
What
that,
used
you know,
what
I
used
think-
to be so great was when I went to France, you could in Paris, you could pull the album and then you could actually play it there in the store. And that was kind of nice. They'd let you listen to each track a little bit.
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of like how I guess in the 50s and 60s we had the record stores in the United States were like that.
Not in
Where
the
you could-
70s.
You had no, not then, but in the 60s you still had listening booths.
Listening booths, yeah.
Check stuff out, No.
But I kind of like what I like doing Bandcamp for is because most of the money goes to the artist.
Yeah. I like that.
I try to avoid buying anything like on Amazon. I don't want to buy anything on iTunes anymore, and I stay away from Spotify. I don't agree with that
Absolutely.
at all.
Same here.
Yeah.
Bandcamp is the best for artists.
Yeah, Bandcamp's amazing.
And I see that they even like have Fridays where they don't take anything and they give the whole amount to the artist, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
That is cute, dude.
Now, I was going to have Tony do something for us. He does obviously the radio programming of talk about some of the people that we lost this year, musicians.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Because,
Yeah, it's been a tough year. There's been so many. I don't even know where to start. Matt, why don't you start? That's a tough one for me.
It's hard. I mean, yeah, because there were such a crazy amount. Jerry from Jerry and the Pacemakers died today. We're already into 21 and it's already started. I want to say something real quick about Sean Malone.
Yeah.
oh, yes.
I knew briefly. He was my college roommate at
Wow.
South Florida in the early 90s before he got involved with Cynic. And he was an incredible guy. I lost track of him, which kind of broke my heart because I would have liked to have been able to see what he was up to. I know that he became a professor, and I know he taught at a few different universities across the United States, but I still don't know where he was living when he passed or if he was sick or anything like that. But he was an incredible person and, extraordinarily talented, very intellectual, very bright. It's because of him that I started listening to more of he's probably the reason I started listening to 80s Crimson in the first place. Because we were big on, he was a huge Tony Levin guy, of course, playing stick. And of course, we were big on Peter Gabriel. And he was like, oh, you need to hear the 80s Crimson records. And, I hadn't heard them yet. So they warped my brain. I was so impressed. But he ended up having a wonderful career of his own, between Cynic and his Gordian Knot project. And he did at least one solo record. He was a great composer in addition to being a wonderful musician.
He played Nearfest solo. It was very good.
Really? Wow.
It was just him on stage and nobody else. And he did a couple of covers of Jocko and he did some of his own work. It was really good.
Yeah, he was astonishing. I mean, between both his bass playing and his stick playing, he was a monster. So that was a hard one,
Yeah.
Especially if you knew him, that's
that puts it in a whole other category, of course, But I mean, he had just turned 50, so it just doesn't add up.
Very young, too young, way too young.
Yeah.
This year we lost quite a lot of people. It began with Neil Peart. It just blew my mind completely. I was, oh my God, that cannot happen. nobody knew he was sick. It was a complete surprise to all of us. Then there was Lyle Mays. After that, jazzman McCoy Tyner. And then a big name, Kenny Rogers. For the amateurs of classical music, you had Christophe Penderecki.
Right.
Guy who wrote Trinity for the people of, well, a lot of other people like Bill Withers, Ellis Marsalis, the father of the two Marsalis brothers, Lee Konitz, and then, of course, one of Leonardo's friends, Lowell Richard.
Oh, yeah.
After that, another big composer, Ennio Morricone, then Peter Green, for amateurs of country music, you had Mac Davis. He was a big name. And then Johnny Nash. I can see clearly.
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen was another monstrous name among the people who disappeared.
That was a shock.
And recently, Spencer Davis, I think it was a couple of days ago.
Yeah, Spencer Davis.
That's pretty much it right now that I recall from the top of my head.
Did we mention Eddie Van Halen?
Yeah, Robert just mentioned him. Yeah.
Oy. Yeah, there was a bomb. Let's looking through a list here. That some of these I didn't even know about. Jerry Jeff Walker. Some of these are just crazy. I had no idea some of these people passed away. Another rough year. Trini Lopez. Wow. There's some definitely some names on here I had no idea. What about Leslie West from
that was recent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a rough year. Yeah, McCoy Tyner. Yeah, I see. Wow.
John Prine.
Yeah, that's right. John Prine. Wow.
Great satirical.
Another rough year. The older we get, the more of this is going to happen. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We get older, our heroes are getting much older than we are.
I think the year that we lost Bowie and the year that we lost Prince, I started to really hone in on the fact that this was going to start accelerating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Regardless of what was going on in the world. I mean, obviously 2020 has been an extraordinary year just due to all the global events, but losing Neil Peart and Lyle Mays was really, really tough, because at least from a personal standpoint, because both of them played such a massive role in my development as a musician for completely different, well, not different, different facets, but for some of the same reasons. Their commitment to their craft was always something that inspired me. So, it's like that whole thing about when you dig something so much and it ends up becoming a part of you, whether it's from a fan standpoint or from a creative standpoint. And even if you don't know them personally, there's a part of you that feels like, wow, there goes part of my childhood. Holy crap,
Yeah, when you have that connection with an artist, some people actually start to feel like they know them. And you develop an actual love for that artist. I mean, when Frank Zappa died was a big blow. Chris Squire, one of my heroes from Yes. I mean, John Bonham, way back, when he passed away, you feel that moment of loss and then realize, I didn't even know that guy, but I sure was one of my heroes.
Yeah, for me, it was Keith Emerson. Hugh Hopper, when he passed, that really hit me hard, because I was a big fan of Hugh Hopper's in the 70s. And then, of course, when Alan Holdsworth passed, because Holdsworth was living right in my neck of the woods.
Oh, wow.
I found out he was living not far from me at all. And it was really sad. I had a chance to see him the year before he passed, but that really hit me, because those were, the band called Isotope, which came from the UK in the 70s. And that was Hugh Hopper played on one of the albums. Actually played on two of the albums, I forgot.
Gentlemen? I will have to leave. I have a Zoom meeting in about 2 minutes, so
Okay.
it has
Robert.
been an immense pleasure.
Thank
Here,
you.
Robert.
I'll see you very soon.
Thank you,
Robert, good to
Robert.
see you.
Nice to meet you.
A la
Good
prochaine.
Stay healthy, man.
All right.
Yeah, one thing I saw that a friend of mine made mention, there was another Van Halen member that died this year. It was an older one. Before they started recording, a guy named Mark Stone, the bass player.
Oh,
I heard that
wow.
too.
I didn't even know about that, but one of my friends just made mention on that. He says, little known member of them, that passed away. And he said it was earlier this year.
Hmm. Wow.
You had no idea.
Yeah, neither did
didn't know
I.
that he existed.
Yeah,
I mean, I
no,
knew
I
they had
didn't.
someone before. Yeah, but I think I might have heard the name in passing at one point, but would have been like in one ear and out the other.
I wonder if the solidarity of being alone, from the COVID, accelerates some of that too.
Maybe.
Not looking forward to or not looking forward to performing or seeing, with friends and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure it's been hard on a lot of people. I mean, all of us know plenty of people who are in the touring world and in the gigging world, and it's definitely been tough on them.
Yeah, my bass teacher, I've been taking bass lessons. I wanted to learn bass for years, and I finally started last year.
Oh, cool.
My bass teacher, he was teaching high schools here, and he was repairing instruments, and he got really hard hit. So he was playing in 5 different bands here in San Diego.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, he plays. His taste in music and mine is very similar. He's a big Jocko fan, of course, and he wants to teach me Birdland the next time we get together.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I'm
Right
looking
on.
forward to that.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
All right, well, guys, it's getting on 8:00 here on the East Coast.
And it's almost 5
What's
o'clock
that?
here on the West
5
Coast.
there, and I just want to say thank you guys for joining me on this. I was really looking forward to the first live Zoom for the new year, and
Mhm.
I was really looking forward to it, and I'm glad we had a good turnout.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. As
Thanks for
always,
having
Ron.
us, and thanks
Great.
for having this. Thanks for inviting me too.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Thanks for the
And
platform. Yep.
there you
Do
go.
Do it,
Little
baby.
shameless promotion.
Do it. This is the time.
Shameless promotion right
This
here.
is
That's
the
what that's
time to
called.
do it. That's right.
He wants to be fed.
Ron, thank you very much. And nice
Oh,
to
you're
meet
welcome.
you, Alex. Matt,
Nice.
always good to see you, brother.
Nice to meet you,
bro.
Tony.
Okay, I'll talk
Matt,
to you guys
Nice to
soon.
meet you, Matt. Take care, guys.
Peace.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks, everybody. See you later,
Peace out.
Ron. See you,
All
Tony.
Happy 2021, everybody.
Yeah, everybody
Thank you.
stay healthy as best you can.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Indeed.
Good night, you guys.
Good night.
Right.